cannot let it fall into Dr. Wowie's hands. You must recover all the energy immediately, Mega Man.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we are monotonely looking into some of our finest working actors and seeing when they gave their worst work for gamers. These are the top 10 worst performances in video games. Let's see who needs to take some acting classes to refresh their chops. Bruce Willis, Apocalypse.
All right, getting close to my old place. This looks like the right spot. Nice polygons.
Back in 1998, having a star like Bruce Willis headline a video game was a major novelty. It drew in audiences, it added legitimacy to your title, it was good for everyone, except for, in this case, the player. His involvement couldn't disguise the mediocrity of Apocalypse. Originally, Willis was intended to be a sidekick character the player would fight alongside, but during testing, developers quickly realized that players wanted to control Willis himself. As a result, his dialogue was hastily reworked to make him the central character. This resulted in some clearly rushed and very flatline delivery. Throughout gameplay, he occasionally throws out a cheesy one-liner, but his lack of enthusiasm is evident, a hint of what would come in some of his later film roles. Oh! Burn.
Lock and load!
Unknown, The House of the Dead 2.
Dogs of the AMS. Time they made a move.
It's hard to find the right words to describe this one. Once you've watched this compilation of Goldman's dialogue from House of the Dead 2, you'll understand. Even though the actor is unknown, the impression has stayed. Every line is delivered in a flat, almost robotic tone, with emphasis placed on random words in each sentence. It's like the actor learned how to use their tongue that day. In an era where games like Metal Gear Solid offered cinematic storytelling, it's baffling that this passed for professional voice acting. Some people will argue that this is charming and that it's reflective of the era. Those people are stupid.
It's been a while, hasn't it? My friends from the AMS? It's me, Goldman.
Sam Worthington, Call of Duty Black Ops.
The Russians want to give us one last display of brute force. Let's give them one last display of courage. You with me?
Sam Worthington seemed like the perfect actor to excel in a role like Alex Mason, but his leading man looks couldn't distract from his performance. He looked perfect for the role, but it turned out he wasn't. Whether it's the material or his approach, his performance in Call of Duty Black Ops feels flatter than day-old beer. On paper, Mason is a compelling figure, a brainwashed assassin with ties to the JFK assassination. However, Worthington's interpretation leans heavily on shrill line delivery and constant complaints about the numbers. It's an unconvincing, jittery American accent. His performance in the sequel was admittedly better, but that's like saying, well, this meal of bugs and dirt still tastes better than what I ate yesterday, because yesterday I ate dog shit.
Hudson, do you copy? No response. Continuous plan.
50 Cent, Blood on the Sand.
Queens, baby. That's where the real OGs live.
Yes, but is New York owned by gangsters?
Hell yeah, the gangsters own the streets.
The streets.
Imagine having the audacity to center a game around yourself and then coming out the gate with a mediocre performance. 50 Cent's acting range has always been somewhat limited, but we never quite realized that until it was too late. The same monotone delivery from his films carried over into his video game venture, Blood on the Sand, which became even more glaring when so much of a video game performance in this era of gaming relied on the voice. The game's absurd premise has 50 performing a rap concert in the Middle East, getting paid with a diamond-encrusted skull, and then embarking on a violent quest to recover it after it's stolen by terrorists. While this setup had potential for over-the-top fun, the game ends up as a dull, repetitive shooter with a very dull performance from the main man himself. I hope he got paid 50 cents for his acting job. Boom, what a joke. Too late for a clapback, 50 Cent. I'm moving on.
For one fact.
Look, motherfucker. I'm here to meet with Yazid, the owner of this piss hole.
That's me. I'm Yazid. But all my friends, they call me Eddie. 50 Cent, I don't believe it. So, how can I help you?
Saeed Kamal.
David Duchovny, 13.
The helicopter. I remember.
David Duchovny's relaxed demeanor translates perfectly to voiceover work, often coming across as either disinterested or detached. Wait, that's a bad thing. Let me take that again. David Duchovny's relaxed demeanor sucks for voiceover work. His performance in Area 51 could serve as a sleep aid, but his work in 13 sets a new low for lack of effort. While the game features a unique comic book aesthetic, enjoyable gameplay, and an engaging plot, it's held back by Duchovny's monotone delivery. He brings the same flat energy to every scene, whether it's a quiet exchange or a high-stakes gunfight, which saps so much of what the game is trying to make. Don't get it twisted though. Game, good. Voice acting, bad.
The timer. I've fallen into my own trap.
Christopher Walken, True Crime, Streets of LA.
My old friend Henry Wilson used to say, people dare to dream here. He liked that about LA. I'd say, Bull, dreaming will get you killed.
This is a terrifying list for me because with each and every entry, there is a small group of defenders, lovers, and passionate believers in the performances given. None more so than probably Christopher Walken in True Crime Streets of LA. Even when Christopher Walken is phoning it in, his charisma often carries the day, and I'm not saying he phones it in much, it just happens from time to time. However, his charisma doesn't translate as well to voiceover work, where his visible presence is absent. This is the case with True Crime Streets of LA, where Walken's poorly written and lacklusterly delivered opening narration immediately sets a shaky tone for the game. Now, it should be made clear, like I said, some people are fans, so if you're watching this and thinking, wait a minute, I think he did good, more power to you. But it's not a 50-50 split, it's more like 20-80. The underwhelming car chases and shootouts don't do the game any favors, and while Walken's role is relatively minor, his awkward, hammy performance whenever he does show up keeps the game from being great.
Nah, not like Nick. First, his mother died. She was a dear soul. Then, his father, Henry, got fingered in a drug trafficking scandal and simply disappeared.
Mickey Rourke, Rogue Warrior.
The brass running this op is a dip-dunk desk jockey named Admiral Travis Payton. He tells me the mission is beyond classified, so I'm running a skeleton crew. Minimum footprint, maximum impact. SOP for assholes like me.
Now I know I've crammed this particular game into so many lists of mine, so I apologize, but it's not because it's good, it's because it falls into so many wild categories. Something clearly went off the rails during the development of Rogue Warrior. Originally envisioned as an ambitious first-person shooter, it devolved into a dull, poorly designed third-person game that can be completed in just a few hours. The game's big selling point was the voice work of Mickey Rourke. Unfortunately, his performance sounds like it was recorded during a brutal hangover. His character is a raspy, foul-mouthed jerk, making him outright unpleasant to listen to, and the only emotion Rourke seems to convey is frustration, probably at having to read the script.
Present for Admiral Payton. Tell him it's evidence for the defense in my court-martial.
You got it. I heard the commies cost you 2 good men, Commander. I'm sorry.
Not as sorry as those motherfuckers.
Bill Murray, Ghostbusters, the video game.
No names, Ray. I don't want to get too attached to this kid. You know, just in case. You remember what happened the last guy.
Bill Murray is undeniably a living treasure, but it's easy to tell when his heart isn't fully in a performance. And here is a performance that's been a point of argument since its release. And a lot of it comes down to the same problem that we've seen a few times on this list. Dull charm doesn't translate to voiceover. For years, Sony tried to persuade him to return for a third Ghostbusters movie, but he repeatedly turned down their scripts, so we were all coloured shocked when he, along with much of the original cast, lent their voices to the 2009 video game. Murray even claimed to have enjoyed revisiting the role, which might surprise anyone who's heard his performance. His low energy, mumbled delivery is often hard to make out, and the sharp, cynical wit that defined Venkman in the movies feels absent. He does, however, give one of his most animated performances. God, I hate myself.
You mean the one with the extra-dimensional antenna that drew Gozer to our world so he could attempt to destroy it? Had a nice view of the park, though.
Jack Evans, Mega Man 8.
This meteor seems to be emitting a powerful energy signature. Something this powerful must not fall into the hands of evil.
I can't express this clearly enough, but every time I'm having a bad day, I go and watch a particular Jack Evans Mega Man 8 compilation, and it turns my mood immediately. Every time Jack Evans as Dr. Light speaks, his slurred words, awkward delivery, and unpolished syllables make it hard to take him seriously. It's truly some of the most comical voice acting that's ever been recorded. On top of this, he even stutters, which reaches peak comedy when he stumbles over Mega Man's name, as if he's momentarily forgotten his own robot son's identity. Just do a second take, guys. He clearly messed up.
When we find that meteor, we'll find Dr. Wily. You must recover all the energy immediately, Mega Man.
But where is Dr. Wily?
That's a good question.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Various actors, Chaos Wars.
Let's see. What am I hungry for?
Don't buy anything yet. We have a shopping list. We need to hurry. Everyone's waiting for us.
This is so unbelievably funny that even now, while writing the script, I can't stop rewatching scenes from this game. There's a certain charm to the chaotic mess that is the English dub of Chaos Wars, but the voice acting is undeniably terrible. Everything from the inflection of words to the tonal delivery feels completely out of place, especially in scenes meant to be tense or emotional. It's hard not to suspect serious issues with direction and casting behind the scenes. Rumor has it that the voice actors weren't professionals but were instead connected to the production team, with some sharing surnames with members of the localization staff. Though the game has gained a cult following due to its infamously poor voice work, I can't help but imagine the novelty wearing thin by the time you hit hour 14. I just checked reviews and I'd like to report back. It did.
Monsters.
That's too bad. They're gone now. You smell good.
Hey, Uru, don't leave me.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of our latest videos.